Yeah, what's up, man? It's Base Boxing Basement, the Triple B. Please like the channel to keep those vile haters away. And there are a lot of haters, man, and I hate haters, even though that might sound contradictory. But anyway, I'm talking about Jai Opetaia. Now, Jai Opetaia is one of my favorite fighters, yeah, for a number of reasons, yeah. The first one is that I predicted that he would beat Maris Bradis, who is a very, very skilled boxer, you know, a real pound for pound prospect at some time. And everyone was going, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. There's no way Opetaia will beat Bradis. Bradis will outbox him. And I was like, no, man. Why? Because I'd watched some Jai Opetaia videos. Was it Jai Opetaia? I'm sorry, man. It's always hard to know. Some people say Jay, some people say Jai, and he doesn't react to either. But I think it's called Jai Opetaia. But my problem here is with Jai Opetaia is that, he should be a superstar. He should be a superstar, yeah. And one of the reasons I like him is because, and you could say, some of the older guys he's beat haven't been that great. Jordan Thompson, Ellis Zorro, Jack Massey, David Nika, but he dealt with them all. He dealt with them all brutally with a KO. And Jack Massey, for example, went the distance with the heavyweight Joseph Parker. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Thompson was a huge cruiserweight. David Nika was a huge puncher, 10 wins with 9 KOs, a very good amateur, a good boxer, and he actually hurt Jai. But Jai is a warrior, The last guy he KO'd was called Claudio Squeo, also known as the Red Bull. His nickname is the Red Bull because he's ginger. And he's from Italy. And there's not that many gingers in that part of Italy. It disappoints me why he isn't, and he's regarded as one of the best pound for pound, or at least he should be, yeah? But why is he not promoted better? This is a man with excellent footwork, yeah? With determination, who trains hard, who is accurate, who is violent, who has good power. I mean, and a guy who's not interested in points. He'd rather smash you and KO you, And it's very weird to me how little he's promoted, especially in Australia. Now, Australia's not a big boxing country, but they've had great boxers too. Jeff Fennick, Jeff Harding, Kostya Tszyu became an Australian, and Jai Opetaia. And also the Tszyu sons, Nikita, and what's the other guy called, man? Whatever, man. The other Tszyu son. And a guy called Cyborg Boxing, a big fan, who I like a lot. He said himself, he calls him Paper Tszyu. Because every time in Australia, if either Tszyu fighter, it's Tim Tszyu, sorry, Tim Tszyu. If Tim Tszyu or Nikita Tszyu fight, you have to pay like $80 just to watch them. That's ridiculous. And these guys aren't near the level of Jai Opetaia, man. I don't know who's promoting him and who's managing him, but they're doing a rubbish job. Now, partially, you could say, maybe it's Opetaia's fault. He doesn't talk enough on social media. He doesn't sit there slating people. Well, firstly, why should he? Secondly, I respect him more that he doesn't. There was an interview with Jai, And he's like saying, I'm sick of this talking, these interviews, this nonsense. I just want to fight. Right? He's old school. He just wants to fight. He doesn't get involved in any nonsense. You know what I mean? And he should be a superstar. He should be a superstar, especially in Australia, for goodness sake. And, you know, the problem is at Cruiserweight, there's no one really there to fight. There's no one there to fight. Yeah? The only possible opponent of value is Zurdo Ramirez. And Jai would destroy him. You know? When I watched Zurdo in his last fight, man, I'm not saying he was whack. Yeah? But there's just not that many good cruiserweights. I mean, look at it. Like, you know, what is there? Who's there? Chris Billam-Smith? Huh? And Jai would send him to hospital. You know, Ryan Rosiski, he can punch and he's game. But he get hiding. You know, and Badu Jack's a champion, even though he's 41, almost 42. And he's probably going to fight Jake Paul and throw the fight. I mean, can you imagine Jake Paul if he's Jai Opetaia? Huh? He'd be like a Mexican cartel murder. You know, brutality. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's no way that Jake Paul would consider boxing Opetaia. And Opetaia's got too much self-respect. Yeah? To take a payday to throw the fight. So the main one is Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, right? Now this is Oscar de la Homo's prospect. Okay? So he's getting heavily promoted. He's got a great record, to be honest. 48 wins, 30 KOs, and 1 loss. And 1 loss was against Dimitri Bivol, which is obviously no disgrace. Bivol's an excellent boxer. Right? But then he moved up to Cruiserweight. He went distance with Joe Smith Jr., a tough guy, but limited. He went distance with Arsene Goulamirian, again, tough, but limited. Chris Billam-Smith, points, tough, but limited. Uniel Dorticos, 39, you know, too old, and he beat them all on points. Right? He beat this guy, Zurdo Ramirez. And he didn't look impressive against Dorticos, right? I thought it was a close fight. But because Zurdo is De La Homo's little batty boy, his little catamite. As I said before, if you don't know what a catamite is, look it up. And it fits. But, you know, he didn't look that great. And he had his huge flabby hips. You know, he doesn't even look like a big cruiserweight. He had his huge flabby hips, you know, like love handles. Yeah, and he didn't look that super against Dorticos. Dorticos is a good fighter, but he's old. And he's lost his 2 biggest fights. Muragasiev, he got stopped in 12 rounds. Maris Paredes beat him on points. You know, and that's it. Who else is there? It's got to be Zurdo. Zurdo is the only challenge there for Jai Opetaia. Why doesn't the fight happen? Why doesn't Turkey? And by the way, you know, Opetaia has actually boxed, right? He's actually boxed on one of Turkey's shows, right? Against, what's his name? Ellis Zorro, a British level guy, and it was brutal. It was, he was absolutely smashed in around. And I can't see anyone who's going to give him any trouble, except, well, I don't even think Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez will give him any trouble, but at least he is a high-level fighter. I would expect Jai to batter him, to absolutely batter him, to give him a hiding. And that's probably why that fight won't happen, because De La Homo sees Ramirez as, a moneymaker, He's from Mexico. And obviously, as I said, Mexican fighters, especially in the US, Mexicans, they will really back their own, and buy the pay-per-view. They are an important customer, Mexican fight fans. And Jai would, in my opinion, would batter him and stop him. Maybe 8 rounds, 10 rounds, something like that. I don't know. But, he would beat up Ramirez, hit his huge love-handled hips, hurt him. I reckon Ramirez is tough, but he would, I think he would take a knee at some stage and end up quitting, probably. And, that's the fight we want to see at Cruiserweight. That's the only fight at Cruiserweight. Who else is a Cruiserweight? Jake Paul. What, you think Jake Paul will fight Jai Opetaia or even Ramirez? Jake Paul will fight that bum Badu Jack, the so-called Swedish Gambian who lives in Dubai. And even if Badu Jack was good enough to beat Paul, which he probably is, he would still what's the word? Throw the fight, because he's old and he would get a good payday and he can retire. And most people would do the same thing in that position. It's like, listen, Badu Jack the Ripper. Bro, you can fight Jake Paul, but you have to lose. And you get $10 million. Yeah. Otherwise, you don't get the fight. If you don't throw the fight, you don't get the fight. Whereas Ramirez won't do that because he's still young enough and a big enough star. I don't even realize why he's a star. He's really ordinary, man. But Ramirez won't at this stage throw the fight. So if the fight happens, Jai Opetaia vs Gilberto Zorro Ramirez, right? Opetaia will absolutely batter Ramirez. It will be ugly, but beautiful at the same time to see the skill, the footwork, the power, the accuracy, and the beatdown that Jai would put on Ramirez. So what else is he going to do, Jai? I would say if by the end of the year he can't get a Zorro Ramirez unification fight, he should move up to heavyweight. I've done a video on this before. Jai spars with heavyweights all the time, including another one of my favorite fighters, Teramoana Jr., who's a huge heavyweight, and he spars him all the time. If he can't get the Ramirez fight by the end of the year, maybe he can have one defense against some bum who will batter, But, maybe he can fight, I don't know, like I said, Ryan Rosiski or someone like that. If he doesn't get the Ramirez fight, move up to heavyweight. And as I said in my video, Jai, he's not big for a cruiserweight, to be honest with you. He's not big for a cruiserweight, He definitely suits the cruiserweight weight. But he's 30 now. He's 6'2". He can go up to 225 pounds, 230 pounds, and retain footwork, violence, power, accuracy. And you got to remember, at the end of the day, the heavyweights are all old. and shot, or at least near to being shot. There's Usyk, who's 38. KJ, he's a bum anyway. Tyson Fury, but Tyson Fury's already said he's going to fight Usyk again. Daniel Dubois is fighting Usyk for the second time. He's only 26. But now, in my opinion, right, the time is right. Maybe you have one more defense. If you can't get Zurdo Ramirez, move up to heavyweight and then start destroying. And I believe you will. Obviously, I'm a big fan. I'm not a nut licker, but I honestly have backed Jai for years. I backed his skills. I backed his power. I backed his footwork. I backed his violence. And I think by the end of the year, if he can't get Zurdo fight, he needs to move up to heavyweight. And why he isn't the biggest star, I don't understand. And I don't get the social media BS, right? I mean, I don't care. I mean, it can get you a little bit of eyes. It can get you a little bit of attention, putting up stupid posts on social media. But Jai Opetaia ain't like that. He old school. He just wants to fight. He's not going to do any fruity dances like Joe Parker. You know what I'm saying? Do some fruity dances. He ain't going to do that. He's got too much pride. So, let's see what happens. But yeah, I'd like to see Jai move up to heavyweight by the end of the year. Then the big money comes in, because at heavyweight, the biggest money is at heavyweight. And there's not a lot out there. They all old. But I'd really want to see Jai fight Zurdo and destroy him. And I look forward to the odds. Because the odds checkers will be like, Ramirez is favorite. And I'll be like, I will dump money on Opetaia by KO. Peace in the Middle East.